Oh my god, it's boiling over. Hey, it's Romilly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, since it is so close to Christmas, we obviously had to do something festive. So I've combined three things that I absolutely love, which is baking, pop songs, and Christmas. And today we are going to be baking cookies while I tell you about my top 10 Christmas pop songs. So I've never done baking on this channel before, obviously. But there's a lot of things that I haven't done on this channel because I only have 3 videos out. So today we're going to be crossing this one off the list. And I'm not a pro baker. I would definitely not say that. I'm not really that good at baking, but I can bake cookies. Okay, this is the one thing that I can bake. So we're going to be doing that today, and I'm going to be showing you the process as we go along. So I have all of my top 10 Christmas pop songs in this super secret book. There's the list. And we're going to be going through it as we bake. But I'm going to start off by showing you guys all of the ingredients that I have. So the recipe that I actually used for baking was originally created by a baker on Instagram, and she's called Remy, and I'll put a link to her original cookie recipe in the description, but mine is a little bit different, and you'll see that as we go along, but obviously I'll put everything in the description if you do decide that these cookies are just so professional and good looking that you need to make them yourself. However, so I'm going to start showing you guys the ingredients. In here we have all of my dry ingredients. I have 300 grams of flour, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I think 3/4 of a teaspoon of bicarb soda. And then in here we have 3, I'm not going to tip that because it's all going to fall, but we have 3 egg yolks in there. I don't know what will happen if you put egg whites in it. I did kind of mess up the separating the eggs today, and there is some egg white in there, so I guess we'll find out. But I feel like it can't be that much of a big difference. I mean, how much of a difference is half an egg white gonna make? I'm feeling like it's not that much. I think it's gonna be fine. Here we have 200 grams of unsalted butter. You can use salted butter if you like salted cookies, but I don't ever put salt in my cookies, so I just use normal butter. But it's up to you. And then here we have 2 different types of sugar. There's 150 grams of caster sugar and 150 grams of brown sugar. I think it's because brown sugar is good for making the cookies chewy or something. I'm not a scientist or a baker, so I don't really know. But yeah, I learned today that there are 2 types of brown sugar. There's dark brown sugar and light brown sugar. I got light brown sugar. I don't know how much of a difference it's gonna make, but I like this one, so this is the one that I normally buy. We also have 75 milliliters of milk here. And then we also have chocolate. You can use any kind of chocolate. The recipe says to use 300 grams. I usually end up using more than that, but it's fine. I have here the Cadbury mini snowball bars because snowballs are festive and this is a festive video. So obviously, and I love the snowballs. They're like mini eggs, but just plain and round. So we have these. I have 3 of these. Okay, so the first step that we have to do is actually with the butter, and we need to brown this. So I need to go over to the stove and heat this up until little brown particles come up. I don't know exactly what this does. I think it does something to make it taste caramelly. I don't know, but it tastes good, so we're doing it. Okay, so the butter is in there, and now we just need to heat it up. I don't really know what heat you're meant to put it on, but normally I put it on pretty high. And we stir, and this is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna start doing that now. Okay, she's already doing that thing the butter does where it starts sliding around. Yeah, so we're all good. Okay, it's starting to melt. I can't really show you because the camera is there, but hopefully you can see. I mean, I feel like you can see. I should probably tie my hair up. Okay, so the butter is all completely melted, and now it's just sizzling away. We have to leave it there for a while, which means that I am gonna tell you about number 10 on the list. This was a really hard list to curate, actually. There's so many banging Christmas pop songs. However, I was able to narrow it down. And at the special place of number 10, we had Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson, which is amazing because it's Kelly Clarkson, so obviously, but also it's just super catchy. I love that melody. I'd really love to put snippets of the songs in this video, however, my desire to put snippets of the songs in is not as great as my fear of the YouTube copyright rules. I don't even know what they would do to me if they copyright struck this, because I'm not monetized. So the worst, and also I feel like the least that they could do is take the video down. But I don't want them to take the video down. So I will read the copyright rules and then get back to you. And if the video has snippets of the songs in them, then you will see that. But if not, then that is why. But yeah, at number 10, Underneath the Tree, I am really sad that I couldn't put this one higher. All these songs are so good. The only reason that I didn't put this one higher is just because there's so many other good songs. It didn't quite beat them for me. However, Underneath the Tree is a total banger. Great melody, great song, great Kelly Clarkson. So that is making number 10 of my list. Okay, the butter is calming down.
No, 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 no.
I'm gonna turn the heat up because I would like it to brown quickly. I don't actually know how long you're meant to brown butter for, and I don't really understand what the difference between brown butter and burnt butter is, but it's forming this kind of white foam at the top. It does this, and I don't really know what that is, but you have to keep going until this disappears, and then the butter becomes kind of see-through and brown all the way through. So we're just gonna keep stirring this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's boiling over. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Oh my gosh, it's boiling over. No, 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 no. Okay, well, that went super well. Okay, so the butter did kind of boil over, but it's brown now.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
So at least there's that. I need to clean this, but while we clean this, we can wait for the brown butter to cool, because that was kind of terrifying. Okay, so while there were a few hiccups along the way, what matters is that the butter has been browned. So you can have a look. I don't know if you can see that, but the butter is brown. Wow, yum. So now that that's been done, we do kind of have to wait for it to cool down. And while we do that, I can tell you about my number 9 on my pop songs list, which is Mistletoe by Justin Bieber. Everybody knows about Mistletoe, but people don't really make a big deal out of how good a song it is. Because in my humble opinion, Mistletoe is actually a really banging song. Yeah, I feel like that's all that needs to be said about it. But it feels like a modern take on Christmas, which I love when pop songs do that. It's a way of talking about Christmas that, you know, I was honestly shocked that they hadn't really made a whole song about this. It's very Justin Bieber, but it's also very Christmas, and I'm happy about that. So that's my number 9. Okay, so now that the butter is browned, we are going to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. That looks like the right amount of trays, I think. Yes. Okay, and now what you would need to do is line your baking trays. However, my baking trays are non-stick, so I know for sure this one doesn't need lining. I don't know about this one. Okay, so now that we've left the butter to cool for a bit, it's been 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and the oven is preheating, we can now start mixing everything together. You don't want to mix it too soon, I think, because the warm butter cooks the eggs, or it melts the sugar, or something like that, but it can't be super warm when you do it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but yeah, so we're going to do that now. Pour that. Ooh. Okay, yeah, you can see now that that is properly brown. So now the butter is in there. I'm going to try to show this. Should be able to see that it's brown. Hopefully you can see that it's brown. It should be brown, basically. There are little brown bits flying around, which is the brown butter. Now you need to mix in your sugar. So I'm just gonna... It's fine. So now we have our butter and our sugar. We just need to mix it up. So the way that I do this is, if you're doing it on a hard surface, I recommend putting a towel down, because otherwise it's gonna be rattling around. But I whisk this for a really long time. If you have a KitchenAid or a stand mixer, use that because that will speed up this process. Now you just gotta whisk, and this is gonna take a while because you wanna, if you look at the color of it now, it's kind of dark brown, and you wanna keep whisking until it goes very light brown so that you can get as much air into it as possible so that the cookies are nice and fluffy rather than just flat and oily, which we don't love. I always forget how long this takes. This is like a full-on arm workout. But it's fine, you know, we're gonna have really great muscles after this. Okay, you can probably see now that it is starting to get lighter in color. You basically just want to keep doing that until it becomes really light and fluffy, so it's almost beige rather than brown. But I'm gonna keep going. My arms are actually dead. This is actually exhausting because there's so much of it. Okay, this would be way easier if I had a stand mixer, although I don't have a stand mixer, so it's not easy. Okay, this is kind of getting towards the consistency that you want, where it's really light and it's sort of, I don't know how to describe the texture, but you see what I mean. You see what I mean. I'm gonna keep going just for a little bit, but we're nearly there. Okay, this is pretty much the consistency that I think I'm gonna go for. Now you need to add in your wet ingredients, which are your eggs and your milk. Ooh, that's bright yellow. Wow, okay. Okay, and now we just need to mix it in. Okay, and while I mix this in, I can actually tell you about number 8 on my list, which honestly, it feels like a crime that I'm putting it this low. But it is Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande, which is so good. I remember when this came out and I was in primary school and I would listen to this, and then I had a friend who really loved Ariana Grande, and I told her that she had a Christmas song, and I felt really smart because nobody knew about the existence of Ariana Grande's Christmas song except for me, which I don't really understand how that happened, but it did, and I love that. That song is so fun. Ariana Grande has such a great voice. Speaking of Ariana Grande, have you guys watched the new Wicked? I have, and I did have some issues with it, which I won't air here, but it was such a great film. It was a really great film. I loved number 1. I didn't love that they made Glinda so good in the second one, but you know. I am actually going to see Ariana in her tour next year in summer in the O2. I don't think she'll be playing Santa Tell Me, which is a shame, but you know. I feel like it's not going to be the vibe in the middle of August, just whipping out the Christmas songs. But you know, you never know. Maybe. So now that we have got all of our wet ingredients mixed in, it is time to add the dry ingredients. And I would probably recommend swapping out your whisk at this stage because it's difficult to whisk flour and whisk cookie dough. Of course, all of the stuff is stuck to the whisk. Oh. Okay, I'm now armed with a wooden spoon, and it's time to mix in our dry ingredients. So normally I do this just a little bit at a time. If you were a professional, you would sift this, but I'm not a professional, and I've never found that it really makes that much of a difference when I sieve it. So we're just gonna put that in as is. So while we mix this in, I can tell you about what is number 7 on my list. What I will say is that 6, 7, and 8, which were 8 was Santa Tell Me, I found really hard to place because I like all of these songs a lot, so I was really struggling with where to place them. Number 7 on my list is What Christmas Means to Me, which was originally performed by Stevie Wonder. However, there have been covers of it, and I wrote them down here. And they were... Oh yeah, Stevie Wonder then did a version with John Legend, and then there was also a version that a band did. I don't know their name, but I think that might be the one that... I don't know which is the one that everyone listens to. I feel like people listen to different versions of it. However, you can really listen to whichever one you want because it's all really good. But that is my number 7. It just has this feel-good factor. It kind of feels like Reach for the Stars, or I think it's just called Reach by S Club 7. It has a sort of similar vibe. You can tell that it's Motown. I love Motown songs. They're so fun. But that is my number 7. I do think that one would come above Santa Tell Me. But it was really difficult. Yeah, those two are really close. Now that I'm looking at this wooden spoon is kind of bent. But It's fine, I think. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Right, it's fine. So this is the kind of consistency that you're gonna have for your cookie dough if you've been following me exactly. Normally what I do is at this point, if it looks a bit sort of wet, then I put some more flour in it just so that it's at the consistency where you can kind of toss it between your hands and your hands will come away greasy, but they won't stick to the dough, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna add some more flour to it now. Okay, I don't think we need that much, to be honest, because it's not really that greasy, but I'm just gonna sprinkle. That looks about right to me. Let's do that first. I think this consistency is a little better, so I think we're gonna go with this. But that's kind of what it's looking like. It is at that point where you can touch it and your hands won't come very greasy. My hands are washed, by the way, before you ask. But yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we actually have to chop up our chocolate, which you can kind of do whichever way you want. Normally, I get this onto a chopping board and I get a serrated knife and I cut it up. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So give me a minute and I will be back with chopped chocolate. Okay, so now we have this chocolate and it's all chopped up. I'm gonna pop this into, okay, this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna save a few whole slices because I like to put them on the top of the cookies because then they sort of appear at the top and they make them nice and chocolatey and make sure that there's an even spread of chocolate throughout the cookies. So I'm just gonna do that, but all the rest, oh, this is a precarious job. I think we did it. That's looking pretty good. So now we just need to fold these in and the oven has finished preheating just on time. So once we've done this, we can roll them up and get those going. This is always the hardest bit because the chocolate and the cookie dough now weighs so much that folding it all in is actually kind of a task. I don't know if this is better than the prolonged whisking. I'd probably put it not as hard as the prolonged whisking. That stuff is painful. Okay, and while I do this, I can actually tell you about number, 6 on the list, which, again, difficult to rank along what Christmas means to me and Santa tell me, but I put Last Christmas. I feel like you can't make a pop Christmas ranking list without putting Last Christmas there. It's just so iconic. You know, I feel like when people think of a pop Christmas song, that is the one they think of. I really love that song. It's such a banger, and it feels so nostalgic, and I don't know, even George Michael's voice in it, it just sounds Christmassy, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. But this is looking pretty good. So now I think we can just roll it up into balls and put it on the baking tray. So now that we have got all this, we are going to move on to my top 5 for Christmas songs, which is, it is difficult to get into my top 5 because these are some great songs and it's a heavy task, but they've done it. So number 5, I actually put Buy Me Presents by Sabrina Carpenter, which I didn't love this song as much until I watched her Christmas comedy feature show that she did on Netflix thing. It was so fun there, and I honestly loved it. And it just has such this Christmassy feel about it. And I don't know what it is. I like fruitcake, and I like A Nonsense Christmas, but Buy Me Presents is just so fun. I don't know what it is about it. I really like fruitcake and not A Nonsense Christmas, but something about Buy Me Presents is just, it really is so fun, and I love listening to it, and I feel like I don't listen to it enough, to be honest, considering it is number 5 on this list. However, would definitely recommend go listen to it. It's fire. Yes. Okay, I think this cookie tray is gonna fit one more, so we'll do that, and then we can pop it in the oven while I put them on the other tray. But these look so good. I'm so excited to eat them. In my opinion, I prefer chewy cookies over crunchy cookies, but that could be just me. Let me know if you guys have strong opinions about cookie texture in the comments. But I feel quite strongly that a cookie should be chewy, not crunchy. Okay, those are looking banging. I'm gonna put those in, but I'm gonna wash my hands first. Now those are in there, we can do this tray. So number 4 on my Christmas list, I think this song is actually quite controversial now, just because of the context under which it was written and some of the lyrics. However, what I think everybody can agree on, is that regardless of the context of the lyrics, it's such a good song. And that is Do They Know It's Christmas, which was done by Band Aid, I think 1984 or 1986. I think it was 1984. I will check that, but pretty sure. Yeah, I love that song. I know that it's not the most popular now. However, I do think it's a really fun Christmas song. I think that they did a really good job with the music and the production on that. And the tune is just so catchy, and the bells and the production on that song is honestly my favorite. I really like it. But yeah, that is my number 4. Okay, and number 3 on my list is, I think, a classic, and I feel like if you are making a Christmas list, if you are making a top 10 Christmas pop song list and this is not on it, what are you even doing? Get out. And that is All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I'm really sad not to put it higher, to be honest, because it's so good. It's so good. My top 3 is sort of S tier. These are my S tier songs. But Mariah Carey, oh, you just really, I mean, I can top that, but really, society cannot top Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You. I just don't think it's ever going to be done. It's that good. And these are all ready to go in the oven now, so I will put these in. Okay, and I didn't say this, but normally I put them in there for about 10 minutes. But last time I made these cookies, I actually had a problem because I overbaked them, and I really don't want that to happen again. So I think I'm gonna do 6 minutes and see how they are after then. But that sounds good. I'm just gonna, in the meantime, form the rest of the dough into cookies because then we can put them straight in when the other ones come out. I've also just remembered I did cut up little squares of chocolate to go in these, and I was gonna put some on those cookies and I forgot. But we can always put them on when they come out fresh out of the oven because they'll be warm and it will work. So I think that will be fine. And for my top 2 Christmas songs, I think this is going to be controversial because they are not what you would expect per se. I think I've said all the ones that you would expect for top Christmas songs. However, for me, these ones are just chef's kiss. So good. Or even if the song itself is not the best, they are just so fun and I love the vibe of them that I don't care. They're on my top 2. This one kind of looks like it's got a face. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, dot mouth. Maybe not. I don't know. It looks like it has a face. I honestly think that I've made some of these cookies a bit too big because the ones that I'm making now even, I feel like have a fair amount of dough. The ones that were going in were kind of massive, but if you're complaining about your cookie being too big, what are you doing? Just, no. No cookie can ever be too big. Okay, so the cookies are nearly done. They have 20 seconds left, but I think they might need a bit more. But now is for the best time, which is taste testing the cookie dough, which, don't do that if you want to get salmonella. But if you are like me and willing to sacrifice salmonella for good cookie, perfect timing. I think I'm just going to put them in for a little bit longer, maybe 30 seconds, but they can have a little bit of extra chocolate because who doesn't love extra chocolate?
6.5 hours later.
Okay, I think they should be done by now. I'm going to get them out. Oh yeah, that is perfect. Look how good those look. I have this thing that I'm going to put them on when they're done, but we can put them there. I probably should leave them for a little bit, but while they cool down a little bit, I'm just gonna clean up. Okay, so now that they're out of the oven, I can tell you number 2 on my list, which is, okay, this is gonna be really controversial. I know that it is not obvious when you look at me, however, I am actually a quarter Irish. I think a lot of people in America don't like this song because it does say some offensive words. However, I don't know what context they were written under. But it's just such an iconic song, okay? And that is Fairy Tale of New York by The Pogues and Kirsty MacColl. It's so iconic. I feel like people over here love this song, and then people in America and probably in Europe too don't like it. But it's so iconic, okay? It's so fun. And the story if you get past the interesting melody, the story is so sad too. So you've just got to trust me, and it's number 2 on my list, okay? Oh my gosh, and these ones are looking so good too. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, while we have our last batch in there, I'm gonna clean up, and then when I'm done, we are going to get onto number 1 of our Christmas pop song ranking list, which I don't think it's gonna be number 1 for a lot of people. It's gonna be number 1 for a specific demographic of people, but I don't really fit that demographic, but it's so good. Trust, trust, trust. Okay, so while we have the last of our cookies in the oven, I'm gonna tell you my number 1 song, which is, drumroll please, My Only Wish This Year in brackets, by Britney Spears. Oh my gosh, I could go on about that song for ages. It's so fun. I don't know what it is or what's in that song, but as a teenage girl, that is such a good Christmas song. It has Christmas feels, Christmas sounds, but it's also just cutesy, girly, fun. It's the kind of thing that you would play at a sleepover and just dance to. It's so, so good. But I feel like barely any people talk about the fact that Britney Spears has a Christmas song, and I feel like barely any people listen to it, which is such a shame because it's so good. But that is my number 1, and I will put my finished list up here. And now that we have the finished list, I can also show you my finished cookies. These look so good. I'm not even gonna lie. I am hyped to eat these. But yeah, we have finished our ranking. We have a festive ranking, we have festive treats, and we also have just a festive vibe. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe because it really helps me out. But yeah, I will see you guys in another 2 weeks for another video. Let me know if you have any ideas. And I will also be around on Instagram and TikTok more regularly. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!